Hello everyone, hope all of you are doing well and welcome to the channel. So in this video we are going to discuss a very important topic. This is from the current affairs portion of Uttarakhand. You can say current affairs or you can also say current events of importance. If you would have gone through the lower PCS mains examination, there were several open-ended questions wherein they were asking your opinions, like what would be your suggestions or what measures should be adopted according to you. So, in order to answer such questions, there needs to be an understanding of the topics that are happening around us these days. Okay, and this initiative, as I had promised, we have begun this initiative, and every day we are covering either the history, geography, polity, current affairs, or something or the else related to Uttarakhand, and that is going to be extremely beneficial for the upcoming mains examination, as well as the prelims examination of RO, ARO, or assistant professor examination. There are so many exams that will be conducted soon, and if you are prepared well in advance, then you are a step ahead of the other aspirants. So hopefully this initiative will be beneficial for you. In case you want the PDF of the documents that are being discussed in these videos, you can join the Telegram channel. The link is provided in the description. Okay, so now let's start the video. So in news, there has been this issue that 4 new districts, that is Yamunotri, Kotdwar, Didihat and Ranikhet, 4 new districts will be made. So now from the perspective of a future administrator or from the perspective of being an aspirant, they are never going to ask you this question that what are the 4 new districts that have been formed. This might be a question in the prelims when actually these districts are formed. They might ask a question in the prelims, but that is a very easy question. And being an aspirant who is appearing in the mains, or given the kind of toughness that is there in these examinations or in the upcoming examinations, the level of the paper is going to be quite difficult. So these type of simple questions would not be there. What they can ask you is that who has the power to form new districts. Okay, they can give you a question and they can give you options like state government, option B central government, option C state as well as central government, or option D none of the above. So if we talk about the procedure, so it is basically the power to create new districts rests with the state government. There are two ways in which they can do so. First is by passing a law, or second is by an executive order. So by passing the law means that they go to the legislative assembly and then a resolution is passed for this. Second option, that is executive order, what happens is that just a notification from the side of the governor comes into the official gazette. Okay, and this notification is released, and from the day of the publication it is understood that now the 4 new districts have been created. Okay, now they can ask you a question in mains like what are the advantages or disadvantages of forming new districts. This can also be a question in the interview. So if we talk about the advantages, the biggest advantage is that better governance and better administration, because smaller districts, they ensure better service to the increased population. Third is that proper fund utilization and enhanced coverage of schemes can be done. It brings the administration closer to the people, and district specific government initiatives can also be implemented. Moreover, it also increases employment. Now if I try to explain this concept, so what happens that if new district is formed, obviously the headquarters will be created, in that district offices will have to be created, residential areas for the officials would have to be developed. Okay, so what happens is that because of this, a kind of development takes place, not only employment opportunities in that district, not only in the form of government jobs, but also the other informal sectors also develop around the offices. For example, development or establishment of a canteen or other tertiary services like transport or banking facilities or other such facilities would also, they'll also grow in that region. So that is an advantage. Now if we talk about the disadvantage or the demerits or the cons of this, so first of all, it is a challenging process, because if you are creating a new district, first of all you have to find office space, you have to fill in new positions in the government offices, and this becomes a pressure on the exchequer of the government, or you can say the finances of the government are burdened by this. Second is that The main criteria which was laid down by Gandhiji was that by the 73rd and the 74th Amendment, the Gandhian principle of decentralization, or you can say local self governance, was given a constitutional status. But if new districts are created, then what happens is that the basic idea of decentralization and giving more powers to the panchayats or the municipalities, it gets diluted. Secondly, due to creation of districts and district headquarters and offices, this also leads to an increase in the cost of living in these districts, because often the land prices they soar because of this. And it is also possible that such demands are not actually uh, triggered by actual need of the machinery or administration, but it is actually a political move or motive. Another aspect is that if new districts are created and if the population is not sufficient, or the population is quite low, so it leads to an underutilization of the administration. We cannot make full use of their potential, and as a result, this becomes a burden. Okay, so now if we talk about some other legal aspects, so second ARC, that is the Administrative Reforms Commission, they gave certain recommendations regarding this. So according to them, more powers should be given to the panchayats and Jilla Parishads by reforming the decentralization policy, for example by creation of State Finance Commission for proper fund allocation. Second is proper guidelines should be there for new district creation. It should not be under the whims and fancies of the ruling government, whether they want to create a district or not. There should be a particular criteria for this. Third is that there should be an alternative like frequent field visits from officials, so that even the people living in far flung areas, they get the benefit of all the government services. Now if we are asked about the conclusion regarding this, so conclusion is that although smaller districts, they are definitely better in terms of service delivery, but there should be a limit in the formation of new districts. Okay, so focus should be there on strengthening the local bodies of governance to solve the administrative challenges, so that there is no extra burden on the state's exchequer, and doorstep delivery of government services is also ensured. Okay, so this was the holistic discussion of this topic. So try to keep in mind, whenever you are reading the newspaper or you come across any news from the perspective of Uttarakhand, try to analyze it, like what could be the possible question that the examiners can frame, and what could be the possible solutions you can give. So this was just an example, so try to prepare whatever is happening. See, because right now it is possible that the exam, although it has already been postponed once, but there is a possibility that the exam may be extended because of the ongoing court cases. However, I'm not saying that it is definitely going to be postponed, but it looks like a possible scenario. So even if you get some extra days, so try to make your preparation even better by thinking about the probable questions related to the current affairs, so that in the examination hall, when there is a time crunch, you come up with the answers. Okay, now the second question is Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. So if you went through the lower PCS mains examination, there were several questions wherein they asked 2.5 marker questions for 25 words. So there can be a question from Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. So certain bit of information about this should be there. So first of all, the location of this is Mount Kailash, that is the yatra is up to Mount Kailash, which is near Lake Mansarovar, and this is in Tibet. And Tibet is actually located in China. It is basically a territory of China, because China has occupied Tibet illegally, although, but still it is considered a part of China now. There can be a question in the prelims like, what is Kang Ram Fedo? Okay, Kang, that is Kang Rampoche, Kang Rampoche. So what is this? They can ask you. This means a precious jewel, and Mount Kailash, the other name of Mount Kailash is this. Okay, now this yatra is organized by the Ministry of External Affairs and also the Chinese government, and basically in Uttarakhand, Kumaon Mandal Vikas Nigam operates this. There are two routes through which you can reach Kailash Mansarovar or Kailash mountain. One is through Lipulekh Pass, which is in Uttarakhand, and the other is Nathula Pass in Sikkim. So this place is very important from Hinduism, Jainism and Buddhist perspective, because for Hindus it is considered to be the residence of Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. For Jains, it is considered that the first lawgiver, Rishabhadev, he attained nirvana at this place, and for Buddhists, it is considered the home of Buddha, Demchok. Okay, so it is very important, and therefore many pilgrims they visit this place every year, and this journey is quite tough. Okay, the people need to have a valid passport, and apart from this, it is approximately 21 to 24 days travel. It involves trekking also, so this is not an easy journey, but still there is so much of devotion in the minds of the devotees that they undertake this strenuous, or you can say very tough journey, and still are able to reach that divine location. Next is Nanda Devi festival. So as you all know, it is celebrated every year in the month of September. So basically it is celebrated in Almora, Nainital, Bageshwar, Bhavali, Kot and villages of Johar. A fair or a mela is also organized, and it is being celebrated since the Chand kings ruled this place, because King Dyot Chand, he built a temple of Nanda Devi in the 17th century, and Nanda Devi is their family goddess. So in this festival what happens is that dolas are created, so of Mas Nanda and Masunanda. Okay, and this festival it symbolizes economic and cultural prosperity of the region. So finally, after the mela is over, a procession is there, and they carry the dola or palanquin, and finally it is submerged into the water. Okay, another question is regarding the implications of human wildlife conflict in Uttarakhand. So first of all, I have given the definition of human animal conflict, which refers to the struggles that arise when presence or behavior of wildlife poses actual or perceived direct or recurring threats to human interests or needs. This often leads to disagreements between groups of people and negative impacts on people or wildlife. For example, increased leopard attacks are happening, whether it be on people or on their cattle. Then monkeys are also causing great nuisance. Elephants, rats, pigs are also often destroying crops. There are cases that are repeatedly happening throughout the state of Uttarakhand. So what are the causes? Why is this actually happening? The first and the foremost reason is that of habitat loss or habitat degradation. This involves clearing of the forests either in terms of deforestation or because of forest fires. Second is growth of invasive alien species, which changes the habitat and makes it very difficult for these wild animals to survive in that location. Another reason could be the growth of wild animals population. For example, the population of the monkeys is increasing rapidly. Okay, and because of the increasing population, they are not able to get the food sources or the water sources in their areas. Therefore, they start moving from the forests to the human dominant regions in search of food, fodder, or even water. And sometimes even the humans move into the forests in search of fuel wood or for water, and as a result of that there is a conflict which arises and finally causes great loss to the human life. So what are the impacts? So it leads to loss of life, injury, crop and agricultural land damage, and rise in violence against animals. So what are the initiatives that can be taken in order to tackle it? First is the Advisory for Management of Human Wildlife Conflict, which has been issued by the Standing Committee of the National Board of Wildlife. So what does it say? First of all, it says that you should empower the Gram Panchayats to deal with the problematic wild animals, but this dealing should be in accordance with the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So what they are saying is that you should give the power of dealing with these issues to the local bodies like the panchayats, but this dealing should be in accordance with the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. For example, in case there is a vermin, if you are aware of this, there are 6 schedules, and particular schedule has different kinds of protection under this act. Okay, so if a decision is to be made, so it should be made according to the rules that have been prescribed. Second is to provide insurance, for example utilizing add-on coverage under the PM Fasal Bima Yojana for compensation against crop damage due to human wildlife conflict. So what is the second suggestion? Second suggestion is that insurance should be provided against crop loss due to human animal conflict, and this is already covered under PM Fasal Bima Yojana. Third is augmenting fodder and water sources within the forest areas, because mostly for fodder and water resources these animals they are coming from the region of their original habitats, they are coming towards the human occupied regions. But if there are facilities or if there are resources within their habitats, then they will obviously not come out of their habitats. So a provision of water as well as fodder should be ensured. And how will this be ensured? Obviously, if the humans, they become sensitive towards the environment, focus is on sustainable development and judicious use of resources, then obviously these requirements like that of food, fodder, or you can even say water resources, that will automatically be fulfilled. If we put a check, for example, if we put a check on the forest fires that are created by antisocial elements, if we put a check on that, then obviously the forest will not be destroyed, and these animals, they will not be forced to come out of their original habitats in search of food and fodder. Okay. Another proactive measures can be taken. For example, interdepartmental committees can be formed at local level. Early warning systems could be adopted. For example, if there is a particular animal like a leopard, if it has become, you can say, adamkhor, or if it has started attacking people, then proper warnings should be given in advance, and we should warn the people that please do not go to these areas, because there is a possibility or there is a presence of an animal that may cause harm to you. Okay. Apart from this, creation of barriers and also dedicated circle wise control rooms with toll free numbers should be there. Now, for the creation of barriers, what could be a possible solution? For example, the elephants, there was this concept of plan B. Okay, what was happening is that these animals, although this is not relevant in case of Uttarakhand, but still these elephants, what was happening, that they were coming and they were often colliding with the trains, or they were also getting electrocuted because of contact with the live electric wires. So plan B was used, in which there was a humming of the bee, just like the humming of the bee. So what happens was that these animals, they would think that okay, there is a honeybee out there, so they would not be attracted, or they would not prefer to go to that area. Okay. And because of this, the conflict would have been avoided. Then what are another solution that could be there? Provide instant relief, and this relief, for example, in form of payment of interim relief within 24 hours to the victim. For example, if a person has been attacked by a leopard and needs money in order to get proper treatment, so facilities should be there that within 24 hours, everything, whatever the compensation is there regarding such issues, it should be provided to the person or to his family within 24 hours. A part of it should be given well within time, so that the person can avail of proper treatment or other things that might be helpful in order to save his life. Okay. So finally, what is the conclusion? So conclusion is that we should focus on creating buffer zones or imparting education and awareness and mitigation on finding ways to keep wildlife out of areas with high human population or agricultural density. So the best thing is to mitigate the situation, which involves that if we avoid such conflicts, that is the best solution, because as it is said, well said, that prevention is better than cure. So try to prevent such instances which can lead to conflicts between human and wildlife. Some other solutions that we can give from the perspective of Uttarakhand are that the wildlife teams, they should capture the monkeys, especially those who are creating great nuisance in the residential areas. They should be caught and they should be left in such areas, for example the national parks, or in areas where there are proper food facilities and water facilities in such forested areas, so that they can also thrive well, and even the people, they are not subjected to such kind of nuisance. And another solution for the case of leopard conflicts could be that there should be strategies and prevention of human interference in the actual habitat areas. And another thing that you can write is about the creation of such areas, or you can also say about the biosphere reserves, wherein there is this buffer zone or there is this core zone where there is no human interference at all. Okay. So these are some solutions that can be written in the answer. Okay. So that's it. These were the topics that we discussed today, and hopefully the video has been useful. In case you want or you have some suggestions, then please share your thoughts in the comment section. And when you need the PDF, in case you need the PDF, the description of the Telegram channel is in the link, in the description of the video. The link is there, so you can join it and you'll get the PDF there. So we'll meet in the next video. Till then, always remember, whatever exam you're preparing for, you can do it. So that's it for today. Bye bye and take care.